Thank you, Joes. Delighted to be here. Let me see if we got the slides up. All right, so beautiful image that made global headlines just a few days ago by a Delhi-based Indian architect who used an artificial intelligence tool to create a skyscraper of the future to reflect what we are about, visions for an Indo-Swiss partnership for a sustainable future. Now, I'm going to start with a short video that was shown at the high-level political forum at the UN, framing a little bit Switzerland's status with regards to the 2030 agenda and the SDGs, and then take it from there. You can get the video to start. Or not, and we can just skip the video. But now my slides are frozen. There you go. All right, we can skip the video altogether because this is what matters at the moment. This is the scorecard of Switzerland's standing at this moment with regards to the SDGs. Now, this is the global agenda. The SDGs have often been perceived as something that applies mostly to the emerging world, the developing world, the low and middle income countries, but that is absolutely not the case. And if we look at where Switzerland stands, yes, in the ranking, number 8, not bad, but if we look at the individual goals, there is one green, a lot of yellow, even more orange, and even some red. So there's significant progress to be made at a national level towards achieving the SDGs. And I stand here recognizing that as a representative from a high-income country, we have benefited from conspicuous consumption without limits to get to the place that we are now. And we are in India, which is an emerging country, a middle-income economy that has high growth aspirations. And if India is to grow the same way that Switzerland did, the Earth, humanity will not likely survive on planet Earth. And we need to acknowledge that, and the way in which we need to go about that is to reduce our footprint and to offset our footprint. So we need to optimize and figure out ways how to do more with less. And so that's what I'm going to focus about and give you some examples of new and innovative technologies that have been developed in Switzerland and are now deployed at a global level. Starting with Climeworks, which is perhaps the global poster child of carbon capture. This is a spin-off out of ETH that recently just raised $600 million for direct air carbon capture and storage. So basically, companies can now pay Climeworks to have a given amount of CO2 removed from the atmosphere. So not offset, but entirely removed. And this is rapidly scaling technology that is now available globally. And the carbon that is removed is then often turned into rocks that can, as we have seen in Eskebo's presentation, be turned into construction materials. We are not yet at a stage of bringing Climeworks to India, but I'm going to give you a few examples of other startups that are part of our portfolio at Swissnex, where we work actively with Swiss startups on either market validation or market entry camps. Are they ready to discover if the Indian market is a good fit for them, or if they're even more advanced, are they ready to enter the Indian market? Smart Helio has entered the Indian market, and I love this company. They make an IoT sensor that essentially informs the soiling status of solar panels. In India, it is estimated that about 30% of efficiency is lost due to soiling. With a simple smart intervention, you can preempt this and know exactly when you need to clean and where you need to clean so that those 30% are not lost. What I love about this is that it really plays to the Swissness. I always tell people that the details are not important, they make the product. And here we have a very careful attention to detail, and Smart Helio is one of our campers already active in the Indian market. Insolite is another great example. They have developed a translucent panel, which you see here. This is a fantastic solution because it allows for double use of the soil. On one hand, the translucent panel allows you to generate electricity. On the other hand, you can have a greenhouse underneath it. And you can control the light environment. You can set it using the translucent panel to have different climate recipes, different light recipes that you can then affect what grows and what should grow at under what conditions in the greenhouse. This is another technology that is entered and available in the Indian market. And then we have So High Tech, which is another spin-off out of EPFL. They have developed an artificial tree which literally takes sunlight and water and splits them into green hydrogen and oxygen. Now, the expensive thing in relation to hydrogen is less producing it and more transporting it. Transporting it is 2 times more expensive. So imagine a field of green trees, of artificial trees called arbs at a cement plant or outside a pharma manufacturing plant or any industry that is hydrogen intensive. You could immediately combine these 2 approaches. So High Tech has just recently signed a collaboration with Terry and is talking with Reliance Energy and Azure Power to bring its technology to scale in India. It's not all about startups. A lot of the knowledge is generated upstream in the R&D labs of companies and most importantly universities. And we have a flagship program in India that is called Knowledge to Action, which aims to bring insights that are gained at a research level and are related to the SDGs and are actionable and make them operational on the ground. So one example, through this program we have given a small grant to A-Tree just in the backyards of Bangalore. And some of you may be familiar with the lantana plant, which is an invasive species that is threatening the local forests. And researchers, together with tribal communities, have extracted this plant and have transformed it into bricks that are now used into construction. And this is something that is now looked, can this be scaled? And can a business be developed out of this? And lastly, looking forward, at the launch and inauguration of the Science Gallery Bengaluru next year, we will have the exhibit pictured here, called Triggered by Motion. In 2020, the University of Zurich sought partners all over the world to set camera traps for 1 year. And one such camera trap was set at IIT Madras, and they received the footage of 1 year, 24/7 recording of this camera trap. And this was a very interesting time to set camera traps because, of course, for a good amount of that time, the world was in lockdown, and we have all experienced the return of wildlife in urban and peri-urban environments. And this exhibit will be a conversation starter to look at the impact that humanity has on biodiversity. And by the way, this is something that is often unappreciated in the West, broadly speaking, at least in Switzerland certainly. India is one of the global biodiversity hotspots. And it is one of the places where it is most important to figure out new ways to protect and better manage the fragile ecosystems. And we'll use this as a conversation starter to seed more collaborations in this realm. And with that, I thank you for your attention and hand it back to Joes.